And now, more with Social Women with your hosts, Pat Cruz, Amy Diaz, and Bronwyn Dannenfelser.
Anyway, we are welcoming attorney Brenda Ferry here today, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about, first of all, it's getting ready for New Year. And it's probably a big time for women making decisions in their lives.
Very big time.
So, contemplating getting married, or a lot of people may have just got engaged over the holidays, which is very big for them to plan for 2012. So we're going to talk a little bit about, all the to-dos and not to-dos about getting married, about, thinking about not being married, getting separated, or any other legal issues that would have to pertain to women in general in this time of year, that we're making some big decisions about how we're going to start the next year off and plan for the next year. So first, tell us a little bit. First, let's get a little bit on you personally. Tell us a little bit on what you do.
Okay. I worked for a personal injury law firm for over 12 years, and then decided to branch out on my own about 2.5 years ago, focusing mostly on family law, criminal law, and wills. And I found that my passion is actually with family law.
Wow.
I enjoy it. So
that's wonderful. And tell us, it must be a busy time for you right now.
Right now is actually the busiest time for filings for divorce. People wait till after the holidays before they file. So the next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be extremely busy for the family courts with filings.
Wow.
Why do you find that is?
They don't want to separate their families during the holidays, so they try to stay as a unit until after the holiday season. And then after that, usually see a bunch of filings in the court. Then people hold off until Valentine's Day. And then right after Valentine's Day, the rush of complaints for divorce fly right in again.
Really?
That is so weird, because I would think right before Thanksgiving, there was a post kind of going through social media about, guys, you have 3 days left before you're stuck for the rest of the holidays with whoever it is that you're with. So if you want to get out now. So, and just from hearing from my friends, and usually holidays come around, men kind of take a step back and they disappear if they don't really want to be around for that. So
it's mostly the married people. If they are married for the children's sake, they'll stay together and suffer through the holidays and, make it more about the kids than themselves. But then once the holidays are over, that's when they decide to start their new lives.
I thought you were going to say, because it's so stressful during the holidays that people get really mad at each other. I'm like, I'm not hanging with you anymore.
Christmas is not about spending money. I'm done. I'm out of here.
But so it is a busy time, and I think a lot of women are making plans for themselves for the new year and trying to get things on track for themselves. So give us a few little, so someone's contemplating here. Someone's contemplating. Let's start with the downside of it. Someone's contemplating divorce, separation at this time. What are the first things that you would tell them to do?
The first thing I tell all potential clients that come in is be prepared, both emotionally and financially, and take a few months to actually think about what you want to do. Take a look at your financial situation. A lot of women give the finances to their husband to take care of, and they don't really know what assets or debts they have. Start looking at the bank statements. Actually pull the records of your retirement plan, your bank accounts, your IRAs, life insurance. See what you have in assets, because that's what's going to be distributed by the courts. Also look at your debts. What do you actually owe? Pull the credit card statements. Find out what you owe.
That's interesting.
Now this is when they first come to you, letting you know this is something I'm thinking about, not even before they actually go to
before
their
they
husband.
even file and before they even think about going through the court process. What they really should be doing is taking a few months just to prepare financially to make sure that they store some cash away. They're going to need to hire an attorney and have money for the attorney. A lot of people require retainers. Some don't have payment plans. They need money to survive on their own. If they're living in a house, they need to make sure they can upkeep the house on their own, and then take care of their children. So they need to store some cash away before they actually file and make a rash decision. So
That's pretty tough. I mean, getting a divorce, it's an emotional roller coaster anyway, but then trying to figure out, as you said, the finances and stuff like that. You just said, a lot of women hand over their checkbooks to their husbands. I don't know if that happens as much anymore, but it sounds like it does. My Nana always said, have your own money. And she said, keep your own checking account.
She was right.
My mother says the same thing.
I do, because you must see a lot of that, where suddenly the money, and that just money can make people just do evil things sometimes, I swear, or lack thereof, or trying to split it up. But maybe you can...
I see a lot of women who come in and they depend on their husband for financial support. They're stay-at-home moms. They've taken care of the children the whole time during the marriage, and they don't have resources to get divorced. So they're staying in that type of situation, unhappy, until they actually can come up with some resources, whether it be borrowing money from friends and family, actually going back to school to get an education, or going back into the job force.
So in order to prevent that, I guess at this point, which is a question that I said that I wanted to ask you, someone who isn't married, and obviously young women during the holidays, people get engaged, and now you have to start thinking about getting married. And what would be some of the steps before you even get married that would prevent those situations when, let's say, for some reason you decide that it's not working out and you're going to get separated, you're going to get a divorce, that they could take so that that process is a little bit easier? I don't know. The interns and I were talking about prenups and how all of that works.
Yeah. If you had
Larry, of course, Larry's going to.
That's what goes out of the back office. Let's talk about prenups.
No, but really,
You girls are insane.
Single women, they need to take care of themselves.
Exactly. At the end of the day,
understand.
you have to take care of yourself, because I can, I've been in serious relationships where talks of marriage have been there, and you have to take a step back and say, well, what is going to happen, and
Absolutely.
what should happen, because I don't know.
Absolutely. The whole grand love scheme, it's great to think about that, but you also have to think about what if that relationship fails or that marriage fails.
And that's not to say that you're going into it thinking the worst of the situation, because
you're just protecting both parties. You're protecting yourself and the other party, actually. Especially with over half of the marriages ending in divorce. I think this year alone they said 1.25 million divorces for 2010, not even this year. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow, that is a huge number.
Yeah.
I have a question. What do you find to be the number one reason?
Right now, it's finances.
Really?
I see a lot of people who have been married for 20, 25 years. The husband lost the job. They're home full-time now. When they weren't home, they were at work before. They were the breadwinners. There's no money coming into the house. The housing market isn't helping. Their house is underwater. They owe more than the house is worth. They're short-selling the house. It's stress. It's a lot of financial stress. And I think that's the biggest reason right now.
Isn't the first vow for richer or for poorer?
Yes.
Absolutely. Before we take a break, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, because honestly, if that is a reason, this is me talking from not having any experience, but if finances is an issue and you're separating because of that, because your husband or your wife whoever the breadwinner is, lost their job, you separating isn't going to get you money.
So now when you get married, this is for richer, for poorer, unless they have a prenup.
Exactly.
That's what the vows now. It is.
So anybody looking to get married to Amy, you better get your paperwork ready.
Seriously. No, it's just it doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're separating because of money.
I think it's more the stress involved with the finances. It's not actually the money. It's not that they don't have money in the house, but it's actually all the financial pressures that are coming on them. The debt collectors are calling, and there's no income coming in.
Yeah, but
they're fighting over how's the money going to get paid to these people.
So now you separate, and they're still there. The issues are there. The problems don't go away, and you don't even have someone to scream at. Okay.
Larry, our producer is just keeping us very amused today.
This has been one of the funniest, most entertaining shows we've had.
But between ourselves.
I just accompanied it.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it all on your own.
Anyway, we are back.
I tried to find a prenup song, couldn't do it. This is the closest one.
You did a good job with that, though. You're very quick thinking on your seat. I won't say feet, your seat.
Thank you.
We're back with attorney Brenda Ferry, who is chatting with us today. And she tells us that this is the busiest time of year for women contemplating divorce, separation. And marriage now too, because so many people have just gotten engaged over the holidays and will be getting engaged between, the holidays and Valentine's Day, the two most popular times to get engaged. So we've got some good things happening for some people who we want to pay attention to what they're doing and, pay attention to their finances prior to getting into the marriage realm. And for people contemplating what to do about getting out of an unhappy situation, a relationship or a marriage, you have some tips for us or some tips for them?
Sure.
What would be your first things to tell them? They're coming in, they're contemplating. You spoke to us before about, find out what you have going on, find out what you have in the bank, find out what your bills are, find out what you own to be key pieces financially. What else?
Yep.
Besides financial, what else would you tell
Emotional support. You want to make sure that you have a support system to back you up, because the divorce is one of the most trying times you're ever going to have to go through in your life. So whether that would be your friends and family, or as we had spoke about during the break, possibly go into counseling and discuss your issues with a counselor prior to filing to make sure that's the right decision for you.
Yeah, because people do and say things in the heat of a moment, and as you're saying, with the stress of finances and everything like that, and right now at this time of year, that I imagine that's pretty important to go, if you actually really thought this through, because it's going to, it's going to cost some money. And, what are the resources that we have out there to can you actually, what does it cost to get divorced?
If it's a nominal divorce, which means the parties are agreeing to all of the aspects of the divorce, which would be property, distribution, child support, child custody, alimony, if they agree to all of those elements, including visitation, then it's a nominal divorce. It's usually about $2,500.
You guys have a coupon day?
The day after Christmas,
Not for me.
you missed it.
For a friend of mine, for somebody that I know.
Well, the social
We have a
women
payment
special.
plan. We have a payment plan. And then for a contested divorce, some attorneys charge by the hour. It's usually about $250 to $400 per hour, or some charge a $5,000 retainer, and then they'll work off that and then continue payment plans monthly for the clients. If the parties can agree to a lot of the issues ahead of time before getting the attorneys involved, that saves you a lot of money, a lot of headaches, a lot of unnecessary battles.
I'm sure.
And that's only attorney fees. Like that's not thinking about, you go to a counselor or whatever other fees are involved in the separation process.
There's a filing fee with the court, which is $160, and then you got to serve the defendant, it's $45. So there are some costs involved. Depositions can be pretty pricey if you need to get into discovery. They could go anywhere $400 to $1,000 every depo.
So
that you
at
take.
the end of the day,
If you're
if finances are your reason to get a divorce, like I said before, for richer or for poorer, that is the first vow. You might want to reconsider that, because you're gonna, like I said again, you're gonna end up with the same problems, if not more financial problems, and then you have nobody to talk to about them.
But those 40 bottles of wine that you have.
Yeah, exactly. By yourself, sitting in your apartment.
We can help share with you.
Yes.
Keep you company with those.
You
bottles
know,
of
as
wine,
soon
yeah.
as my apartment is all nice and nice, we're gonna have a apartment warming party. But thank you so much, Brenda.
It's
cannot
over
Thank you for
again.
having me.
It's
I appreciate
over.
it.
But you know what? If our listeners and viewers want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can either email me at brendaferrylaw.com, or my phone number is 401-572-3919, and we're also on Facebook.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Happy New Year to
Happy
all
New
three
Year
of
to
you.
Happy New Year to
All of you.
everyone.